Now we come to the last of our three varieties of fifths, the augmented fifth. And there's something about the augmented fifth that always feels a little bit more intimidating, but really the process is exactly the same. The only difference being in an augmented fifth, we want a fifth that has 8 half steps. So let's make an augmented fifth. Let's go to the note E. Let's try this E that is right above middle C. And let's build an augmented fifth on this E. So I'm going to write A5 below just to remind myself that I'm writing an augmented fifth. I'm going to write my half steps right below that, 0 to 8, just to remember that I need 8 half steps in an augmented fifth. And then I'm going to go to my 2 questions and start with a very simple question. How many letter names do I need to travel? And since this is a fifth, I need to travel 5 letter names. So we're starting on E, and we go E1, F2, G3, A4, B5. So that's the interval of a fifth, E to B. So I'm going to write my B right there. So I know that the second note has to be some kind of a B. So let me write the, let's go to our keyboard. Let me write the E and the B here. Let's now see how many half steps do we actually have. So E0, F1, F sharp 2, G3, G sharp 4, A5, A sharp 6, B7. So from E to B, I have 7 half steps. But how many half steps do I need? I need 8. I need 1 more half step. So how am I going to make E to B 8 half steps instead of 7 half steps? Well, what am I going to do? I'm going to raise my B by 1 half step. And what note do I end up on if I raise my B by 1 half step? I end up on the note C. So let's write this here. E to C, or C, E to C. So let's count this out. Do I have 8 half steps? E1, F2, F sharp 3, G4, G3, G sharp 4, A5, A sharp 6, B7, C, 8. So yes, I have 8 half steps. So now, do I have an augmented fifth? No, I don't. Why don't I have an augmented fifth? Because look, how many letter names have I traveled now that I've moved that B up to a C? E1, F2, G3, A4, B5, C, 6. This is no longer an augmented fifth. This is some kind of a sixth. And it's a perfectly good interval. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with writing E to C. But that is not an augmented fifth. How can we rewrite these 2 notes? How can we keep the integrity of that fifth, of those 5 letter names, and still have those 6 half steps? Well, what we can do is, there's another way that we can raise that B to the C, and that is with the sharp symbol in front of the B. Remember, the sharp symbol simply means raise this note by 1 half step. And we know that on the piano keyboard, if we play a B sharp, it looks like a C, but we're thinking about this not as a C, but as a B sharp. And there is my augmented fifth. 8 half steps in the form of a fifth, or traveling over 5 letter names. Now again, you may say, well, that's crazy. Why don't we just write it as E to C? And that makes life so much simpler. And you're right, in a lot of cases it will, but believe it or not, this spelling of the augmented fifth is going to make our lives easier and make a lot more things make sense later on. In this class and in classes coming up and in musical things that you'll need coming up. And we'll explore those in some later videos. So there you have it. Those are your 3 kinds of fifths. Perfect fifths, fifths with 7 half steps. Diminished fifths, fifths with 6 half steps and augmented fifths, fifths with 8 half steps. Remember, I will leave you with this. You're always thinking along these two dimensions. How many letter names do I have? How many half steps do I need to travel? Those are two separate things, and you always need to answer both of those questions. In the next video, we're going to take a look at another interval that has 3 varieties, diminished, perfect, and augmented, and that is the interval of the fourth.